All right, so today we're diving into wet stock management.
Wet stock management, huh?
Yeah, and you wouldn't believe how fascinating it can be.
Really?
We're taking a look at BMS Ltd. They're a facilities management company, but not just any facilities management company.
Okay, what makes them so special?
Well, they've got over 100 years of combined expertise, specifically in liquid measurement.
Wow, 100 years. That's impressive. It really shows dedication to a niche.
And their tagline is counting everything around the world.
That's quite a statement. I mean, they're really emphasizing their global reach and accuracy.
It sounds like they're saying they can help businesses keep track of all their liquids.
Exactly, no matter where in the world those liquids are.
So we're talking fuel, chemicals, really anything that flows, right?
Absolutely. And they work with some of the biggest brands out there, so they clearly know their stuff.
So what exactly does BMS offer in terms of expertise?
Well, they handle a lot. Just think MOD and defense services, calibrations, electrical work, even environmental surveys. And get this, they even have training clinics.
Training clinics. That's interesting. They actually invest in educating their clients too.
Yep. They want to make sure businesses understand all the regulations, keep their systems compliant, and train their staff properly. They're not just about fixing things, they're about preventing problems too.
So it's a really comprehensive approach.
Exact.
And speaking of comprehensive, they offer a huge range of products too. Like it's not just meters and gauges, right?
You're right. They distribute for some of the biggest names in the industry. For example, you've got Gilbarco Veeder-Root. They're a big player in fuel management. Their systems track deliveries, dispensing, pretty much everything to make sure records are accurate and to minimize waste.
Oh, so they provide that one-stop shop experience. Makes it easy for businesses, shows how well they understand the industry's needs.
And they have a pretty impressive history, too.
Let's hear it. I love a good company history.
So picture this. It's 1982. Two guys, Brian Bigwood and John Izzard, start working out of Brian's home repairing Veeder-Root equipment. That was the start of BMS.
Wow, from a home office to a major UK-wide service provider, that's the entrepreneurial dream.
And in 2021, they celebrated 25 years in business.
That's huge. What do you think contributed to that success?
Well, they've built strategic partnerships with companies like TCS, Varec, OCV, and Meggitt. Being trusted by industry leaders like that, it really shows their commitment to finding the best solutions for their clients.
Okay, so we've got strategic partnerships, a long history, tons of services and products, and a massive amount of experience. Sounds like a recipe for success. But what about their values? Like they list integrity, respect, performance, excellence, and accountability. Are those just words, or do they actually live by them?
Well, sometimes those lists of values can feel a bit like corporate jargon, but in the case of BMS, they seem to really mean it.
Okay, give me an example. How do those values actually play out?
One example is their focus on the customer. They genuinely believe that the customer is the most important visitor. And it's not just lip service, it shows in how they communicate and work with clients. They really focus on collaboration.
So building those long-term relationships rather than just quick transactions.
Exactly. They go above and beyond just selling a product or a service. They take the time to listen to their clients, understand their unique challenges, and then they develop custom solutions that actually work.
That's impressive. So far, BMS is shaping up to be quite the company. Customer-focused, experienced, innovative, and values-driven. What else did you find interesting in the research?
One thing that stood out was their dedication to sustainability. It's clearly more than just a trend for them, it's a core part of their business.
Sustainability is a big topic these days. It's refreshing to see a company taking it seriously. Got any specific examples of their sustainable practices?
Well, for one, they prioritize eco-friendly products and procedures throughout their entire operation. Plus, they are experts in making sure fuel systems are managed in a way that has the least impact on the environment. They understand the importance of finding that balance between business success and environmental responsibility.
It makes perfect sense, actually. When you manage fuel systems well, you cut down on waste and emissions. It ties in perfectly with what they do.
And it's not just about words. They actually put it into practice in their daily work. It's just another thing that makes BMS really stand out as a company. That commitment to sustainability, it actually ties in really well with another thing BMS is big on, and that's continuous improvement.
You know, I was looking through their materials and one line really stood out to me. It said, their best was good for today, but tomorrow they'll do better. That's ambitious, always pushing to improve.
Yeah, for sure. And they don't just say it, they actually back it up. They're constantly looking at new technologies, adapting to the changing needs of the industry, and putting a lot of resources into training and developing their staff.
You mentioned training earlier. And those training clinics they offer, they really got me thinking. What exactly happens in those clinics?
Well, they seem to believe that knowledge is power. They offer all kinds of training courses to empower their clients.
So it's not just about installing the equipment and then leaving. They actually make sure the client knows how to use and maintain it all properly.
Yeah, exactly. They want to make sure their clients are getting the most out of their investment and that everything is being run safely and efficiently. It's all about building competence and confidence.
That's really cool. Shows their commitment to being a real partner in the client's success. And that brings us to another area where BMS really shines. Their work with the MOD and Defense Services.
Yeah, that's a sector that really demands the highest level of precision, reliability, and security.
Absolutely. The stakes are super high in those environments. So what kind of work does BMS do for the MOD?
They provide a whole range of services from the mechanical and electrical stuff to asset management and even civil engineering. And obviously, their core expertise in tanks and fuel systems is crucial for the MOD.
So they're dealing with some pretty sensitive and potentially dangerous situations.
Definitely. And their expertise in hazardous areas, along with their complex approval, shows their commitment to safety and compliance, even in those really demanding high-risk environments.
You mentioned CompEx. For those of us who aren't familiar with all the technical terms, what does that certification actually mean?
Basically, it means they've met some very strict standards for competency when it comes to working in potentially explosive atmospheres. So think about fuel storage facilities or any place where there are flammable materials. It's a vital certification that assures clients they're working with a team that takes safety seriously.
So it's not just about having the skills, it's about having the knowledge and the awareness to work safely and responsibly in those environments.
Right. And that attention to detail, that commitment to safety, it shows up in everything they do with the MOD. They really get that lives depend on their expertise and reliability.
I'm starting to see a pattern here. BMS seems to actually thrive on challenges.
Yeah.
Complex regulations, hazardous areas, developing cutting-edge technology. They embrace it all.
You're totally right. They seem to love pushing boundaries, innovating, finding those creative solutions to complex problems. That's a true sign of a leader in any industry.
And it's not just about their technical skills. It's like they approach everything with a sense of purpose. It's like they're driven by more than just profit. They want to make a real difference.
That's a good observation. I think it goes back to those core values we talked about earlier. Integrity, respect, performance, excellence, accountability. They aren't just words on a website. They're part of the company culture.
So it's not just what they do, it's how they do it. Their values guide everything.
Exactly. And you see that in their commitment to sustainability, their customer-focused approach, and how dedicated they are to building those long-term partnerships with their clients.
It's really inspiring to see a company that puts its values into practice in every aspect of its operation. They're not just going for the quick win. They're building a business model that's sustainable and ethical for the long haul.
Absolutely. They're showing that doing the right thing and being successful in business, they aren't mutually exclusive. They can actually work together.
So we've talked a lot about BMS, but why should our listeners care? What makes them relevant?
That's a great question, and I think there are a few answers to that. First, BMS is a great example of a company that achieves success by staying true to its values, investing in its people, and always looking for ways to improve.
So they're a model for how to run a business ethically and sustainably, proving that doing good can also be good for business.
Exactly. And beyond that, they highlight the importance of finding partners, not just vendors. You want to work with people who get your challenges, can offer expert advice, and are truly invested in your success.
That's such a key point. BMS shows what a real partnership looks like, one built on trust and mutual respect.
Exactly. It's not just about buying and selling. It's about peace of mind, knowing you have that expertise and a collaborative approach to solving problems.
So, to our listeners out there, as you're going through your own professional journey, think about what we can learn from BMS. How can you strengthen your own core values? How can you create a culture of continuous improvement? How can you build those lasting partnerships that lead to success for everyone?
These are important questions to think about, and BMS shows us how to do it. Remember, success isn't just about profit. It's about making a positive impact while sticking to your values.
And remember, always keep striving to be better, to do better, and to make a real difference in the world.
We'll be back soon with the last part of our deep dive. We're going to explore some specific examples of how BMS has put their values into action and the real impact they've had on their clients and the whole industry.
Welcome back to our deep dive on BMS Ltd. So we've looked at their history, their expertise, and how dedicated they are to sustainability and keeping their customers happy. Now let's get to the real-world stuff and see how all of this actually works in practice.
It's great to talk about values and expertise, but seeing it in action is what matters. So let's look at some specific examples of how BMS has made a difference.
Okay, I'm really curious about their tank and pipework services. That sounds so complex, especially with all the different liquids and uses involved.
It definitely can be. But BMS has a really skilled team of engineers and technicians who handle everything. We're talking design, installation, maintenance, even decommissioning. They're there with their clients for the whole journey, making sure those systems are safe, efficient, and following all the rules.
So they're not just setting things up and leaving. They're in it for the long haul, taking a holistic approach and thinking about safety, environmental impact, and regulations.
Exactly. They understand that these tank and pipework systems are crucial for so many businesses.
You mentioned their work with the MOD earlier. Any specific examples from that sector?
Sure. They've provided fuel support services, including managing and maintaining assets for a bunch of MOD facilities across the UK. They've even designed and installed brand new fuel systems, making sure they meet those really high MOD standards for safety and operation.
Wow, that's impressive. Shows how they can adapt their expertise to different and challenging environments.
Absolutely. They're not a one-size-fits-all company. They tailor solutions to each client's needs, whether it's a high-security MOD facility or a commercial fuel depot.
We've talked a lot about their technical expertise, but what about the human side? How do they make sure their clients are happy beyond just the technical stuff?
Well, their customer service is amazing. They're all about open communication and collaboration. They really listen to their clients' concerns and work closely with them to come up with solutions that are customized to their needs. And they're available 24/7, which is essential for businesses that never close. Downtime is expensive, so they get that.
So it's not just about checking things off a list. It's about those strong relationships, making sure clients feel supported.
Exactly. And that long-term vision ties in perfectly with their commitment to sustainability. It's not just about profit. They're in it for the long haul, building a better future for everyone.
So as we wrap up this deep dive on BMS Ltd, what are the key things our listeners should take away? What sets them apart in a crowded market?
The biggest takeaway is that they actually live their values. They don't just talk about integrity, respect, and excellence. They show it in everything they do. From how they treat their clients to their focus on quality and sustainability, their actions speak volumes.
They're a perfect example of how a company can be successful by focusing on what they're good at, building strong relationships, and always adapting to the changing needs of the industry and their clients.
And they remind us that even in a technical field like wet stock management, the human element is key. That customer-centric approach, that collaborative spirit, and their dedication to training their clients, it shows the power of human connection.
This deep dive into BMS Ltd has been fascinating. We've learned about their expertise, their values, and the real impact they've had.
And to our listeners, keep exploring and learning. Check out their website, look at their case studies, and contact them directly if you're curious. You might be surprised at how their expertise and solutions can benefit your organization and help build a more sustainable future.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the amazing world around us.